few weeks with all the rain, we have people out there suffering. And I don't feel good when my people are suffering on those roads, when they have to put bags on their feet to walk, to get to the bus. I don't feel good about that. And so we really do. And I understand Councilman's passion about it. It's time for us to really pour into those roads, and while at the same time, though, not compromising what we can get for the full county. And I hope that all of that will come to fruition. And I ask all of y'all to help us pray for it and to talk to us and help us to hear and see what the needs are. And I support the concept of having the public to address the commission so that they can see and hear the passion.
Mr.
Thank
Chairman,
you.
so there's a couple things that are pending, and
It's pending right now. Let me get, everybody's had their say so. I'm gonna have none. First of all, Mr. Washington, I appreciate you complimenting me for working with you. From day one, I told you that I was gonna make roads a priority. I have had many conversations with our administrator, Mr. Mixon, that we've got to do something with these roads, and when it comes to a penny, we've got more money in the penny for rural roads than we've ever had this year, amounting to almost 20% of the total. That was because I made a promise to you that we were going to make it a priority. Now, getting back to the two things, first of all, there were some questions that you asked that need to be addressed by our attorney. He's going to get back. Second of all, any motions that you make are out of order because they're not on the agenda. So to answer your question, we're going to, I guess you want 2 weeks to discuss it. We'll discuss it in 2 weeks and then we'll come back.
well, I'd like to get them placed on the calendar for 2 weeks, and if we can come to some conclusion within that 2-week period, then I'll move to strike them. But for the moment, I want to request that they are placed on the calendar 2 weeks from now. Sometimes you just have to vote. But if we can come to an agreement before then, I'll be the first to move to strike them. And my closing comment is, if York County can do it, if counties in Florida can do it and make roads their number one priority, we ought to be able to do it too. I don't know if you've been to York lately, but they are blowing up. And they did it the right way. They did the roads first. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments? Any other councilman have any reports? Mr. Bates?
Yes. As you know, being a retired military person, I'm concerned about military veterans. And I used to give a report every 2 weeks, but now I put it to a month, about the number of military veterans that have died in our county. And since my last report on February 21st, 23 more veterans have died, bringing the total number of veterans now to to 263 veterans that have died in the last 470 days. And this information goes back to December 8th, 2020, when I first started doing this. And the source of my information is the Sumter item obituary. I look at that every day, every time I get the paper. And right now, every 43 hours, a veteran in Sumter County dies. So I just want to let you know that we are concerned that we are doing things to help veterans in this community. New facilities are going up in this community because we have a very high veteran population in Sumter County. and I appreciate what is being done. And I appreciate the governor appointing a special office for South Carolina Veteran Affairs Office to deal with veterans in South Carolina. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Anyone else? Monthly reports, Ms. Mack.
Mr. Chair, as you can see, we do not have Ms. Blanding this evening. Ms. McLeod is here in her replacement. Ms. Blanding had to be away for a family function. The information is provided to you in your packet about the event for County Council.
Okay. And I'll take that in our packet. Okay. Then come down to County Administrator's report.
Yes, sir. Two items quickly. First, I just wanted to remind council that we are in the budget process for the county's operating budget. We've been meeting for the last couple of weeks, and we'll continue to meet next week with all the department heads that have requested meeting with myself and the finance staff to compile all the information for council, which we will start with workshops proposed right now for April the 12th, running through the middle of June. Of course, those dates are very fluid, and we may change depending on the conversation and the need for additional meetings. But we are scheduled right now for a first reading on the budget ordinance on May the 10th, followed by the 24th and the 14th for second and third reading. So that's just a rough schedule. You'll receive this information from our Madam Clerk, so that you'll have that and you can start scheduling that on your calendars. The second item I would like to introduce, of course, Mr. Joe Perry, our County Communication Director, who would like to recognize and acknowledge a very special presentation.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of council, I'll be very brief because I'm hungry. I'll be brief because I just want to take a minute. The Sumter item was a recent recipient of the President's Cup, the South Carolina Press Association Awards, and Ms. Golding won several awards, so we just want to say congratulations.
Thank you, Shelby, for your coverage of our council meeting. Come now to public comment portion of our agenda. Anyone wishing to address council, please proceed to the podium. Again, please address all comments to the chair, and please keep your comments within 3 minutes. And as you approach the podium, please state your name for the public, for the record. Public comment section is now open.
Good evening. My name is Louis Watkins, and I speak when I get an opportunity only because I know the history of why these meetings are open. In 1966, the U.S. Congress passed the open meeting law and also a FOIL law, which require all governmental agencies in every state to make the meetings open to the public so that they can be informed. Before that, well, I like to also say that the Daily Item this past weekend had an article regarding the public meeting law. And before that, the Civil Rights Bill was passed to open these meetings up so everyone can attend. Now the civic rights of the public is also important. And I have a civic right to be here and to be informed. Mr. Washington, thank you very much for your presentation today, because we haven't gotten that much information from, I haven't anyway, from the council, the county council, or the city council. So, and I come, and it's like going to somebody's house in the old days, where everybody sneak away and eat, and you're hungry, and you're sitting up, and you don't get anything to eat. So, I think it's important that we get more information. There are some things that the Free Open Meeting Law suggested, and they have some desirable things, and one of them is where the public input is allowed at meetings, And if so, the rules governing the public input. And I remember an incident that happened at the city council where the mayor was very adamant about who could speak. And it was one of our distinguished citizens, you know, professional and very active. And that, in my opinion, violated the rights of that person. So anyway, I just want to say that we have a right to be here, and the information that comes out, we have a right to have that information. It should be very transparent. I mean, minutes, we don't see any minutes. Minutes are not summarized at these meetings, and even most of the stuff that come here isn't summarized. The agenda is a skeleton. There's no meat at all, and we don't get to know, and next thing you know, buildings are popping up all over the place, and you're at these meetings and you don't know what the item is going to come to a fruition. Some places they have variances, they have special permits that they put on planning items or zoning items, where it falls off after 5 years or after 10 years. Then they have to come back to reapply for that permit, so that the zoning won't change, but the use change. And those are things that I don't see happening, where I know there's laws on the books for land use items. I think.
Thank you, Mr. White.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Edgar Sanders, Jr. And please thank you. I'm a continental employee. Okay, thank you. You know, roads and bridges right now is the hottest topic, both here and abroad throughout the United States. And I kind of and I listened to some of the things that got done, and they were a great priority. Patriot Parkway and all that stuff is good. It did help. It does help. But I drive from Dazzle. I stay, y'all call him Art, I call him Coach Baker. I stay in Coach Baker's district, but I'm from Renford. So every Sunday I go to church, I got to go down Dankins Mill Road. And Dankins Mill Road is rough. And it's been like that for a while. I want to say since I was driving school bus, and that's for many years. So the roads do need to be taken care of. I think it's a higher priority. For me it is anyway. And I hope y'all can come to some type of resolution to get it all squared away. Okay? Thank you for your time.
Mr. Sanders, I will say this, if I'm not mistaken, Dankins Mill Road is one of the roads that are on the list. What's up,
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
No, that's
it's a state road.
Sorry, excuse me. It's a DOT.
Good evening, I'm back again. My name is Jose McCoo. I'm in this Gaines district, and thank you for yourself and the chairman for coming out there and seeing what we was actually talking about physically. And I sent you some pictures of the road and videos of what it looked like when it's raining. Continental Tire, a big accomplishment, but Continental Tire is a tire manufacturer. They take care less about the road, but they're gonna make money off the new tires. Right? So again, with the kids putting plastic bags on their shoes to get on the road to get to a bus that the bus cannot go on the road, is crazy. All right, but all those parks and all that stuff, you still need roads to get to them. If you can't get to them, they're no good. So again, like the gentleman says, and everybody else says, please make that a priority and get these roads fixed so we could get to those areas that we have to drive from one side of town to another to enjoy. say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.